Get this. Here we go. Well, good Thursday morning. If you're a fan of that summer warmth, today certainly is going to be the day for you. Already seeing sunshine and plenty of it across South Central. Maybe even a few clouds still building into parts of the Matanuska and Susitna Valley, and that's largely due to that easterly wave that has been impacting the Copper River Basin that brought some rain showers yesterday, and even this morning we're seeing some of that light rain out towards Prince William Sound, more so towards Cordova, but we are expected to see extreme eastern parts of South Central continue to hold on to some of that cloud coverage. No surprise, though, that July as a large, for the most part, certainly has been on the cooler side. In fact, we're sitting at 12 consecutive days for this month where those temperatures have remained below normal. With that being said, it still has been quite nice to get outside and not have to battle any of that oppressive heat. We are going to see the temperatures today, though, make a run near 70, which would be the second time that we've officially climbed at that 70-degree mark for Ted Stevens. Now, Midtown, East Anchorage, out towards Eagle River, we have climbed into the 70s at least 5 to 7 times so far this season. But the official record coming from Ted Stevens showing that we've only seen one day this year where that temperature hit 70 degrees. And that was about 3.5 weeks ago, so it's been nearly a month since we've seen some of this significant warmth building back into the region. Average number of 70-degree days across South Central, 16. Last year we saw 26, and of course 2019, that was the record-breaking year when we saw nearly 50 days where those temperatures warmed into the 70s, 80s, and then one day when we did see that temperature at 90 degrees, and that was on July 4th of 2019. Now this afternoon we are going to see those temperatures warm. 60 in Anchorage is where we're currently sitting at, 61 in Fairbanks, out towards Kodiak, 66 degrees. So if you are a fan of this summer weather and this warmth and sunshine, you want to get outside, soak it up, because we do have clouds that are set to make a return as we welcome in Friday. We're watching a change that's going to bring the potential for some widespread rain as we welcome in the weekend. A lot has been going on this past week when it comes to our model runs. They have been showing some inconsistency, but as we really begin to approach the weekend, things are beginning to line up with the potential for some rain showers, and that looks likely to build in as early as late tomorrow evening across extreme western parts of the Susitna Valley. Temperatures today, though, warming, 70 degrees by 5 p.m. We even have the shot that we're going to warm into the low to mid 70s across extreme East Anchorage as well as into the valley. That is where we're going to see that better potential for highs to top out near 75 degrees. So what are we talking about in terms of what's going on across the state? Well, we're in between two systems. Notice the cloud coverage out towards the eastern interior, Wrangell, St. Elias, those spotty to isolated showers you're seeing towards Prince William Sound, Cordova, Valdez. That is that easterly wave that has been building out of Canada. Now that's going to back off towards the east later today, and that's going to allow for some of those areas through the valley still sitting up under cloudy conditions to see some of that sunshine make a return. And then looking off towards the west, Norton Sound, out towards the Yukon Delta, Bristol Bay, you can see rain building into the region. As this builds eastward, it is going to weaken. We're going to see the cloud coverage from this arrive as we welcome into the overnight hours on into our Friday. Tomorrow still going to be nice across South Central with temperatures warming into the mid 60s, but things begin to change as we welcome in the weekend. Earlier in the week, we were talking about this ridge of high pressure building itself in and anchoring just south of the Bering. Changes are actually happening. We have a low that's pulling off of Russia, as well as an Arctic low that's going to be driving south into Alaska, and that is going to help flatten the ridge. What do I mean by flatten the ridge? Well, when we have this ridge like we're dealing with now, you can see how it extends well into South Central. Watch as this low builds eastward. It begins to flatten that ridge and push it back off towards the south. What this means for us here over the next few days is temperatures still expected to remain on the warmer side, but it's going to open the door for several upper-level disturbances to sweep back into South Central, and that means cooler conditions can be expected as we welcome in your Saturday as well as Sunday, more so towards western and northwest Alaska, where we're going to see the potential for those cooler conditions. In terms of the rainfall, though, we're going to see that widespread activity return as we welcome in our Saturday and Sunday across South Central. So go ahead and prepare for the potential for rain and cooler conditions. If you're a fan of that this weekend, we're going to be talking about highs in the upper 50s and lower 60s. So as we put this in motion for you, you can see there's that system we're dealing with this morning. As it continues to drive off towards the east here in south central, that system does weaken as it rides into the Alaska range, but we are going to see the cloud coverage from that. Maybe a spot shower or two for parts of the Susitna Valley into the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning. But overall, tomorrow is still going to be a nice day, just a lot more cloud coverage across the region. And then remember that low I was talking about? Well, watch what happens. It begins to fill in with all of that precipitation. 9:30 tomorrow, Saturday morning, you can see some scattered to periodic rain showers, more so the further west you live in south central. Thinking west of the Parks Highway, out towards western parts of the Kenai, as well as Kodiak Island. This is where we're going to see that better chance for rain by Saturday morning. If you're heading to Eagle River for the Bear Paw Festival Parade, you may want to go ahead and prepare for the chance for rain, and then that rain is going to gradually build back in and become widespread overnight Saturday into Sunday. So we're expecting to see those temperatures drop back into the upper 50s and lower 60s. Now, earlier in the week, we were talking about the weekend being dry. This is how weather can consistently change the more model runs that we get in, and we watch that run-to-run consistency with our weather data. So as far as what we're going to see this weekend, expect that rainfall. And then on into next week, we are still going to see that chance for rain, but it drastically drops off compared to what we're going to see for Saturday as well as Sunday. How much rain are we talking about? Where many areas across South Central could see upwards of 1/4 of an inch, if not more, of that rainfall for the weekend into the first part of next week. Now, as far as what we're going to see with temperature-wise as we welcome in next week, you see 66 tomorrow. There's the cooler conditions Saturday and Sunday, holding at 62 degrees. But again, depending on the rain and how much rain we see across the region, we could see those highs struggle to climb out of the 50s. So if you are a fan of that cooler weather and the cloudier conditions, then this weekend is going to be that weekend for you. As far as next week, we're still going to hold a chance for some showers, but temperatures are expected to warm back into the mid to upper 60s. And with those cloudy conditions, you can see those overnight lows also remaining on the warmer side, mid to upper 50s, more so tonight. Where we're going to see that warmer air remain in place. And that's largely due to, as the clouds build back into the region, it's going to act like a blanket and prevent any of the heat we see today from escaping. So get outside, soak up this sunshine if you are a fan of summer, because as we welcome in next week, yes, it will be on the warmer side, but we're not going to see these crystal clear skies like we're seeing today. And it could be quite a while before we see it again across South Central, as this summer certainly has been one where we've been sitting on the cooler and wetter side, and thankfully for now, we are catching a break. Of course, we'll have more on this coming up in the noon news as well as 4 p.m. and the evening shows. For now, have a good Thursday.